to the computer. I want to let you know why I'm recording to the computer, and I'm recording this so I can load it out on YouTube and you can have this video so you can watch it again. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about identifying bias, fallacies, ethical uses of AI or of evidence in the age of AI. This world has changed because of AI. Just because you see it in a picture doesn't mean it's true. It can be a fake picture. Just because you read it in a paper doesn't mean it's true. It can be a fake paper. AI is powerful. I kid my grandchildren. They better be careful with how they treat Pawpaw because Pawpaw is computer literate and I can help them out. So we're going to get started with our PowerPoint and we're going to work through this. This is subtopic 3. I hope we're going to work. Well, what are you doing here, thing? Okay, let's reload it and see if it's going to work. Hope it's going. Well, I can beat that. We don't have to play the game. Okay. Why do you think this topic about being careful in how you use AI and what you accept in our day and age is important? When I was a young man, I lived in Shelbyville, Texas. Actually lived in Georgia. We lived in Coral, Georgia. We lived in Huntsville, Alabama. We lived in El Paso, but spent more time in Shelbyville, Texas. That's where I went from 8th to 12th grade school. Things were very different back then. We had a news broadcast. It's called Walter Cronkite on CBS. At the end of the day, they gave you 30 minutes of news. It wasn't all this. Nowadays, when you go to the news, it runs 24 hours a day on 15 channels. And what is so interesting with it is you have reporters interviewing reporters about what a reporter said to another reporter, okay? And they're telling you how to think. They're telling you what you need to, how you need to view things. In my day, when I was a young man, they gave us the news and we got to make our own minds up. If you watch Fox News, you've got a right-wing position. If you watch MSNBC, you got a left-wing position. And I got to the time when I lived over in the United Arab Emirates, I would watch BBC because the American news was so biased. When I went to the United Arab Emirates, one of my friends met his first Texan. He couldn't believe that we don't walk around with cowboy hats carrying pistols, because that's what he saw on the news. I told him, I said, well, I'm surprised. I thought all of you had machine guns shooting them in the air, saying down with America. And he laughed. News changes things. And in our day and age, information spreads very, very, very quickly. I know we've had news events in Minnesota. Come on in and join us. We've had news events in Minnesota where we've had difficulties of things going on. A police officer, come on in. A police officer is shot. A civilian is shot, and the next thing you know, all over the news, there's all these different videos. How do you know those videos are real? I'm going to tell you that some of them are not. Some of them are AI generated. And there are people out here that like causing controversy. And they want us to hate one another and they want us to not get along. So, they'll generate a video or a picture that tells all sorts of things. I built a picture the other day. It says, my mother can fix stupid, but it's going to hurt. Okay. When I was a little kid, you do something stupid, mama could straighten that out real quick. Didn't take her long to get it fixed. So the topic matters because we live in the AI age where news can be faked, information can be generated. We can give you a scholarly article with references that is just totally made up, comes out of nowhere. And what I want you to do, the reason I want you to use AI responsibly, I want you to know it. I want you to understand how to use it. And I want you to be able to evaluate the things that are given to you. Are they true? Now let me show you some things. You see that little picture up there? Isn't that cute? I drew that picture this morning. There are people that'll steal other people's pictures and put them out there and think that it's okay. It's not okay. Those things have royalties. Why this topic matters. I wrote a narrative, and then I changed it into a PowerPoint, and then I pirated BUA's logo because I wanted it on my PowerPoint, and I can legally do that because I'm representing BUA and I'm teaching for BUA. But you need to understand information, how to evaluate information, especially in the age of AI where it is so easy to fake everything. There's critical reading as an academic and civic responsibility. Now that I don't know why this thing's not changing for me, but I can fix that. But in our society, it's important that we be able to evaluate information effectively because our lives don't just affect us, we affect each other. And we need to understand that. Now, bias is misrepresentation of the truth. You can be biased. Oh, I'm biased against the news media. I'm tired of reporters telling me how to think. Zoe is biased against Whataburger. When you go to Whataburger, he cries. He don't like Whataburger. He wants to go to Sonic. And he's biased for Sonic and biased against Whataburger. The world is filled with biases, and biases are not healthy for us. We have, there are people that have bias against different ethnicities. There are people that have bias against different nationalities. We're all people. There are biases against genders. My wife told me the other day, said, men drivers. I said, that's bias statement, you women drivers. Okay, I was kidding her about it. But biases are often subtle, and sometimes they're not intentional. It's just been so deeply ingrained into our persona and into our writing that we don't even notice it anymore. It appears in word choices, framings, omissions, reflects assumptions about what is normal and reasonable. What is normal? What is normal? You're not normal. I was always called Abby Normal. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Young Frankenstein. He goes and gets the brain to put in the monster, and he gets the brain of the person named Abby Normal. And they put the abnormal brain in the monster. What is normal? Well, you know it would be more normal to be female than male. Do y'all know that? How many? There are more females than males. You know why? Anybody have an idea why there are more females than males? You're more, well, that's actually true. You live longer. The average life of men is 74 in America. The average life of women is 81. So maybe that's why they're having those gender changes. I don't know. They want to live longer. That's my weird sense of humor. But so what is normal? Is normal being white? Is normal being Hispanic? Is normal being Arabic? I have a marvelous friend who's very much like a son to me. He's Palestinian. Is that normal? Depends on how you're perspecting it. But it is possible to accept cultural norms that are not appropriate. I don't know if you have ever been the object of racial discrimination or mistreatment because of who you were or what you were. When I first went to the United Arab Emirates years ago, you have to have medical checkup to enter into the country to get your permanent visa. And there's this huge room with all of these people. And they took me in, and I'm a professor, and I was going to be the associate provost. So they took me in, took me right to the front of the line, got mine, and I was out there. There's people been waiting there half a day. That wasn't fair. And I said that, he said, you be quiet. That's what he told me. because I didn't think it was fair to do that with other people sitting there. I should have waited my turn. But that was what was normal. It wasn't right, but it was normal. Okay. So normal, each of us has a mindset of what we think is normal. But that frame reference is about us, not about others. And things change across cultures and across people. I grew up in East Texas. Guys, I can shoot a pistol. Let me tell you, my daughter, bless her heart, she was in the military and she qualified as a marksman. She brought her little marksman friends, and they were out shooting and they were shooting with these 22 rifles. I went out there with the 22 pistol. They'd shoot a rifle, shoot 20 times and maybe hit three things. I shot six times with a pistol and hit all six of them at the same distance in six shots. Is it normal to grow up? I told them, I said, hey, they gave me a bottle and a pistol. I grew up in East Texas, okay? I think I got the pistol before I got the bottle. I don't know. But that to us, that was normal, but that's not normal to other people. Bias occurs when we think something is normal and it's not normal for other people. And AI is very good at being misused, very easy to misuse, and show things that are not true. I showed you the picture of Jesus sitting at his computer using Chat GPT. Do you think Jesus is in heaven tied onto his computer? I can prove to you that picture is not true. He was using an IBM. If Jesus was using a computer, he'd be using an Apple. I'm just telling you, okay? But it's easy with AI to lie to people, to deceive people, to change the facts, to put it in writing and make it look official when it's not true at all. I can go in AI and I can build me a student ID for Harvard. I can go in AI and I can draw me a transcript for a doctorate in nuclear physics with AI. Okay. But you wouldn't want to turn me loose where the button is. I'd push the wrong button and obliterate the earth. We need to understand bias and we need to understand how to read things and analyze them to try to understand whether they're true or not. I don't know why my little AI, my little PowerPoint's not working, but I can bypass it just like that. Bias and AI, proven facts. Look at all those proven facts. The earth is flat. Oh, let's see. The moon is made of cheese and dinosaurs still exist. Have any of y'all seen pictures of what is it, Obi Gumbo or whatever in the Congo, and they're claiming they got a picture of a dinosaur? Now listen, I can go in AI and I can draw that picture, and it'll look just like a photograph. Do you think the Earth is flat? Now there are people that think the Earth is flat. They do. I'm serious. They think the Earth is flat. Now, the earth, I hope most of us believe that it's round, and certainly we don't accept that the moon is made out of cheese. AI is trained on human created data. And I laugh because there are folks that think that when you use AI, there's a little demon in there that's doing that for you, speaking to you. No, it's computer language. It's based on computer choices and algorithms, and it analyzes vast amounts of information and tries to consolidate it. The problem with that is that people generated that information, and people can be wrong. I was helping Dr. Homer Fitzwilliams, Dr. Williams, generate his course on Baptist heritage and faith and practice for his graduate course. And we were looking at things about churches and cooperative works. And it came back out of AI and it says the authority is only in the church, and Baptists don't believe that you can use a cooperative work. Now, wait a minute. I believe in the BGCT. I pastored for many years. I always had 10% of what we took in as a church went to the Baptist General Convention of Texas to help with mission work. We can do more together as churches than we could ever do individually. But AI said that's not right. I don't care what AI says. I don't report to AI. And when I read that in AI narratives that it did, I fixed it. I changed it because I evaluated what it said. I knew what it said was based on some group that it was looking at out there, and I didn't accept that. Uh, I was saved when I was 9 years old. I was saved in a church. The Baptists met one Sunday and the Methodists met the next Sunday. I'm a Baptist because I was saved on the Baptist day, okay? If I'd been saved the next week, I guess I'd have been a Methodist. But I laugh about things like that. But I grew up among people that had a whole lot of biases. They would, first of all, they blasted women, they blasted people that had problems in their lives and all that. If God did away with people that had problems in their life, none of us would be accepted. So AI can come up with things that just aren't true. But AI knows a whole lot. Let me go out to AI just a minute. I'm gonna mess with your brain here. Okay, let me go to AI and let's go. And I like Chat GPT. There are many versions of AI. Some people say, "Oh, I don't believe in using AI," and then they have spell checker in their Word document. Spell checker is an AI. They'll go into PowerPoint and they'll have slide designer. That's AI. Okay, but let me ask you something. Okay, who am I? Let's see if it knows who I am. It's thinking, that little demon in there, you're Dr. Lee Edward Waller Jr. Now, I get nervous when they call me Lee Edward Waller Jr. Like I said, my mama could fix stupid, but it hurt. And she'd say, Lee Edward Waller Jr., get in and get your physiognomy in here. Uh-oh. Y'all ever watch Scooby Doo where he says, "Ruh-roh, time to run"? That was it. Oh, let's see. When the moment there's less formal, Rusty fits you just fine. You're an academic leader and a builder deeply involved with Baptist. How does it know that I'm involved with Baptist University of America, shaping curriculum, doing all of these, and with a strong Baptist theological backbone and a careful eye on accreditation? Who is this? You're also a husband of many decades to Sharon. That's Dr. Sharon K. Waller, and actually Professor Sharon K. Waller. She earned the rank of professor. Sometimes I'll say, Dr. Waller, how are you doing? And she says, "Oh, I'm doing good," because I'm proud of her. I'm proud of what she did academically. Practically, you're someone who likes things structured, usable, and done right. Clean language. Ooh, I'm not going to call my sister while we're in here. Do any of y'all have those relatives that you call that they talk? Say you'd be better off calling a sailor in public than calling them. Okay, but anyway, they say you know you're in East Texas when your mother has given a highway patrol a good cussing with a Marlboro hanging out of her mouth. I laugh about that. Okay, I was going to ask it, who am I married to? It told us I'm married to Sharon. It told us who I am. Let's see, what more could I ask about me? Um, do I have any children? Let's see who my children are. Maybe I could. Oh, let's see what it's going to do. It says, I don't have any information indicating that you have children. If you do and like me to be aware of that for future conversations, you should tell me and I'll take into account when it's relevant. Okay, it didn't know. Do I have any grandchildren? Guys, I got grandchildren. I got 9 of them, little beggars. They want $100 each every birthday. It doesn't have anything about my grandchildren. I'm not going to ask it if I have a dog. I could ask. I don't have a dog, but it might think I do. I wouldn't want to scare it. But did you notice how much it knew about me? And it knew about my wife? let me tell it, I have a son named Zoe. Let's see what it says to that. It's working, it's thinking, working. Thank you for telling me. So you have a son named Zoe. If you'd like, I can keep that in mind. You will anyway, whether I like it or not, especially when we're talking about family, faith, and legacy. Just tell me the word and I'll treat it as something to remember going forward. AI can do all sorts of things. Draw me a picture of Superman uh, on the BUA campus. Let's see what it does. Sometimes it's I can't do that because that's a violation of some. No, it's not a violation of copyright in this case. Creating an image. Now, I could go out and write an article about Superman was on the BUA campus. Yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of things with AI. You can cheat. You can and you can use it to help you. You can make up stories. You can investigate truths and things like, oh, it's giving me two different pictures of Superman on the BUA campus. Let's let them finish it. And it's probably going to ask us which one do we like best. Oh no, it didn't like the other one. Oh, there he is. I wonder if he's standing out by Dr. Abe's office. Oh, we're sorry, but the image we created may violate our guardrails concerning similarity to a third party content. If you think we got it wrong, please retry or edit your prompt. So Superman is a protected picture. Draw a picture of a cartoon professor in a Superman suit. See if it'll do that. And we could write an article. A BUA professor is revealed in Superman in secret. That's a fake article. And there's just all sorts of things done today with AI. If you see a picture, question whether that picture might be true. You read an article, question whether that article might be true, because they can lie to you using these things. And just because they have something that's beautifully written and they have something that is beautifully illustrated doesn't mean it's true. Okay, let's see. Here it comes. I want to see that. Hopefully it'll do this, but I want to see who this is. That may be Dr. Abe. We don't know. No, it did the same thing. Started drawing it at some point. It hit a guardrail thing. Draw a possum that looks like a BUA faculty member. Let's see if it'll do that. And we can write an article. Dr. Waller is revealed in secret to be a possum imitating a human being, okay? But you can make all sorts of fake news up. It's just what I'm trying to show you. AI is powerful. AI is a helpful tool. AI can do lots of things.
Also, you can do a super alien human like.
Oh yeah. We could BUA faculty member is revealed to be a real alien, an alien. And I love possums because my daughter had a possum got in her backyard. And she called me, Daddy, there's a possum in my backyard. So I've been sending her tons of possum things. Oh, that's Baptist University of the Americas. He got his, I don't, I got his BUA emblem on. And he's got, hide the glasses, okay? Maybe I don't have a tie on, hide my name tag, okay? But isn't that cool? We could make a story up, write a narrative about a BUA faculty who is really a possum masquerading as a faculty. I misspelled, but it'll fix it. I didn't go back and fix it. Let's see what it says. So we now have a story. Do you believe this story? On the no ever question. Oh my! On the surface, no one at BUA ever questioned Professor Whitaker. He arrived early every morning, impeccably dressed in a navy blazer with a slightly overstuffed briefcase tucked under his arm. He nodded politely to colleagues, sipped coffee with quiet reverence, and spoke warmly about syllabi, accreditation standards, and the proper alignment of learning outcomes. His lectures were clear, his feedback encouraging, and his office door always open. But Professor Whitaker was hiding something. When the campus lights dimmed and the sidewalks emptied, the truth emerged. Professor Whitaker was, in fact, a possum. Let's rewrite and replace Whitaker with Waller. I know it's implying that I'm really a possum. Do you believe this story? It's in writing. It's in writing. I've got a picture. I do have a navy blazer. I just never wear it. And guys, I got all sorts of cool suits and things like that. I had them handmade in Dubai. They're elegant, okay? But so what? Here we are. Here we have a story, and it's not true. So let me do something else here for the folks at home. I think I'm sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. I want to make sure it's shared. I think I already am sharing it. But there's Professor Waller masquerading as a possum. And the truth is finally revealed. His masquerade was flawless, it said. He was all the glasses, a necessity to keep up appearances. I can prove that's not true. I take my glasses off, I can't get out the door, okay? I was eating enchiladas the other day, and this lens, the little screw had come out and it fell in my enchilada. I was handicapped. I barely got to the optometrist. Isn't that students trusted him, colleagues respected him, administrators appreciate his uncanny ability to avoid unnecessary conflict while getting that's not true, while getting things done. I have a very strict code of how I think we should. Oh, you need to talk to Orlando, Alejandro. The groundskeeper said nothing. Oh man, he knew, but he didn't tell anybody. But is that story true? That story's a lie. What if I had written a story about the current political system in charge or the opposition to the system in charge? What if I made up some crazy story about some victim of something? Well, do you know they're doing that? When the lady was shot in Minnesota, they had an article all about her in pictures, video of her trying to run over the police or the ICE agent, and it was all fake. Now, I'm not saying she was innocent. I'm not saying she was guilty. I'm just saying that we needed the truth, not a fake video that stirred up emotions. Can you measure things? In our day of reading, we need to be careful what we read. AI is trained on human content, and because it's trained on human content, it picks out what humans have said, and it trusts that what humans are saying is true. And it can present contested opinions as fact. The earth is flat. No, the earth is not flat. NASA has had aliens for years. Have you seen any of those articles? They're all out there, man. I can find them. They're AI generated. They're even fake generated. They got pictures of the aliens. It looks like my cousin in a suit, okay? But I saw a video yesterday. I started bringing it to class of two Bigfoot. Do you call them big feets or Bigfoots? I don't know, but two Bigfoot creatures, and they were walking across clearest day. A big one and a little one walking across a deal. It was a fake video. I can make the same video using AI. Waller sees Bigfoot on BUA campus. And we could tell it, we might make the San Antonio News. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Let me take you, I don't know why it's not changing slides for me. But you have to ask yourself questions. Any of you, when you were little, did your mother ever question you when you told her a story? And she kept questioning you until she knew the truth? My mother was a math teacher. She was very good at cross examination. I told her one day she should have been an attorney. She was great at cross examining. Just because I told her that a buzzard swooped down and grabbed my sister and was flying off with her when I grabbed the buzzard by the foot and swung it round and round and made it turn Karen loose, she began to ask me questions. She didn't believe my story. What questions might you ask? Well, whose perspective is represented by the question? You know, sometimes they're trying to convince you of their opinion, so they write a fake article. My son just, I love him to death, but he's intensive right wing. Intensive right wing. He told me he wasn't prejudiced. He hated everybody equally. I told him, I said, Jared, that's not fair. And he's probably telling the truth. But anyway, he always got an article for me to read. And they're fake articles. And they look real. And all you have to do is whose perspective is this told from and investigate it. Whose voices are not being told. When we're blasting some group, what do they have to say in response? See, I grew up in a day and age where news was a lot more fair than it is today. They interviewed both sides, okay? They didn't tell you how to think, they just told you what happened. I remember that there was, when I was, I guess I was about 6, in Georgia, there was a zoo that an elephant got out of. And somebody had given the elephant this hot pepper, and the elephant went crazy. And it killed the person that did it. And it killed 2 or 3 other people. And I'll never forget them interviewing this hunter, was out in a tree deer hunting. And this huge elephant comes through the woods, tearing trees down. And they were interviewing him. He said, yeah, I was sitting there in that tree and this huge elephant came through and it was tearing up trees. They said, why didn't you shoot it? He said, shoot it. He said, I hid and hoped it didn't see me. Okay. I like whose voice is missing. Who's been asked? Does it fairly evaluate things? What assumptions are being made? You be careful what you believe based on what you read. You be careful what you believe based on what you see. Because people have hidden agendas and they want to promote disunity. I'm going to tell you something politically, and I'm not a political scientist, but you listen to me. If everybody in this world became a Republican and everybody in this world became a Democrat, the world's not going to change. If everybody in this world embraced the Lord Jesus Christ as their Savior, the world would change. My giving is to the church. And I get stuff from politicians all the time, send me money. I don't know if you ever saw the Burbs where he asked him a question, his answer was no. So you send me money? No, I'm not sending you any money. You can make it on your own. I believe that we have a mission and that we need to evaluate the things that we're reading. There are many documents out there that are intended to attack different people that are different. If you're a different faith, if you're a different nationality, if you come from a different country than the person writing the article, I mean, they're blasting you. Listen, I've been all over this world. I found wonderful people in this world, good people. And you need to be careful about what you read. I'm sorry that it's not scrolling through the PowerPoint. Here's a logical fallacies defined. Do you know that it's possible? There are artistic means to deceive people. And these are called fallacies in logic. One of them is called poisoning the well, for example. And here they call it ad hominem, hominidum, but it's actually called poisoning the well. You discredit somebody rather than answer their question or address the point they made. My opponent is a low-life skunk. Does that mean you should vote for me? Not by any means. I may be a double low-life skunk. Okay? To discredit the messenger doesn't negate the message. That's used throughout the Bible. The prophets were discredited. People talk about religion. What those that follow the Lord, they talk about what's wrong with them. They're just not answering the question. They're avoiding doing that. And these things can sound very persuasive. There's one of the things that is called hypothesis contrary to fact, another one called post hoc. I mean, there's all sorts of different fake analysis, but one of them is every time I take my brother's a jinx. Every time I take him with me to the ball game, it rains. Does that mean he's a jinx just because I took him to the ball game and it rained? Maybe circumstance. Maybe he is bad luck. Okay, leave him at home next time. May rain on you anyway. But those are things, and drawing false analogies. You ever heard where there's smoke, there's fire? You ever heard that? Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's a false analogy. Do you know that people can throw false charges at others, false assumptions, and them be totally innocent? I'll point out to you in the Christian faith that Jesus was accused of being possessed of a demon. He was accused of all sorts of things, but it wasn't true. So guys, be careful. It can sound good. It can sound convincing, but be just as fake. And some of the things are AI generated. I have a video out there that sometimes I'm not going to play it, but I want you to see it. There's a story called "Love Is a Fallacy" by Max Schulman. Oh, that's my video that came up. You see my little ratty name, Lee Rusty Waller? "Love is a Fallacy" by Max Schulman. This guy thinks he's so smart. I mean, he's 18 years old. He says, seldom is there a brain like mine found in an 18-year-old. And he's so much smarter than his roommate. So his roommate is dating a girl that he likes. And so what he does is he swaps a raccoon skin coat to the roommate for the girl. And he discovers that the girl is not nearly as smart as he would want her to be, so he decides to teach her logic. And finally, when logic makes sense to her, he decides that he can make his heart known to her. And he says, "I want you to go steady with me." She said, "No." He said, "But you owe me. You owe me. You'd have never learned logic if it hadn't been for me." She said, "Hypothesis contrary to fact." He said, "Well, who are you going to go with?" And she said, "Petey Birch, his roommate." She said, "He's a dirty rat." She said, "Poisoning the well." I mean, we'd go through all of that. And finally, "Well, what's Petey got that I don't have?" She said, "A raccoon skin coat." Now, guys, you'd enjoy that story. Come on, guys, calm down on the back. We need your attention up here. We need your attention up here. I know it's funny, but we don't want to make you tell everybody what's so cute. Okay, common appeal to authority without evidence. You ever had you argue with somebody and they tell you they have more education than you do? So what? It's really funny. One time, Olivia Williamson and I were talking, and I said in class, the God's plan of salvation has always been the Lord Jesus Christ, even in the Old Testament. And she said, "Well, that's not what one of your teachers believes." I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, he would be wrong then." She said, "Yeah, but he has a master's degree." I said, "Well, I'm not impressed." I was kidding her. But she told him when he said otherwise than what I had said, she said, "That's not right." And he said, "Well, I have a master's degree. So what?" Appeal to authority. How many degrees did Jesus hold? He didn't need any, did he? He spoke with authority. So, false dilemmas, a hasty generalization, a false dilemma, something is either good or bad. Things are not necessarily good or bad. It's how you use them. People talk, oh, AI is evil. My phone is evil. Zoe likes my phone. He broke it this morning, broke the screen because he dropped it because he's looking at pictures, but that's all right. He's more important than my phone. I can't let Zoe look at things because he'll tear them up. Those are considered false dilemmas. We create a scenario that causes a problem, a hasty generalization. All men are bad drivers. Now, you guys don't have to testify here about talking about women drivers, but have you ladies ever fussed at men drivers? Yeah, just like men fuss at women drivers. If you notice me, most of the time when I'm riding around with my wife is driving. Sometimes because things are correlated, people try to make a conclusion. You ever heard that on the full moon that kids go crazy? That's just a correlation. But what you're watching the behavior when you think the moon is rising. Don't tell my wife that that's not true because she believes that. She and I kid each other about it. Ethical use of evidence. When you have AI stuff, you need to use it accurately, and you need to measure it before you circulate some information. Make sure it's true. Verify sources. A lot of times you'll get so and so says that blah, blah, blah. Go out and look, see if they truly said that. Scientists, and I love where they're going to sell you something and they've got a medical doctor. This is good for you. Send us $200 and you'll get over your diabetes. Guys, if they could cure diabetes for $200, they would have already done it. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I could be better if I didn't like ice cream. But Bluebell, God bless Bluebell with his own hand out of Navasota, Texas, and Brenham. I mean, it's awesome. There's nothing like Bluebell French vanilla with chocolate syrup poured over the top of it. And I mean, you don't just need one bowl, you need two. But if they could cure my diabetes, I send them $50 and then I'll eat my ice cream and be cured. Fake authorities. Fake, fake, fake. People will lie to you and give you misinformation. And as you become an educated person, ask yourself, do they have a bias? Does what they're saying sound true? Could it be true? Can you check it out? And when they start talking about experts and all that, ask them. They had a little ad on Facebook the other day about this blue flower. Oh, it was really cool. I thought, I would love to have one of those. It grows and it comes back. So I looked it up on the internet, said it's a scam. There is no such flower. They're trying, once you send them $50, they'll send you a packet of seed to something that doesn't exist. You plant the seed, you don't know what's growing there. You have to ask yourself in this day and age, when you read things, might they be true? Yes or no? And you verify and you look at things. And when you write an article, you need to write it fairly. I can attack people. I could get on AI and I could build a convincing argument to sell you on about anything. I know logic. I know how to argue. I know argument bad absurdum. I know how to argue modus tollendus ponens. My daughter told me one time, Daddy, they're having a sleepover at so and so's house. These were druggies. I'm not letting her go to sleep over with those druggy people. I know Mary Jane hanged out there, marijuana, all over that type of stuff. I knew what they were doing. And Amanda looked at me and said, they're having that. And you're either going to let me go or not let me go. Classic modus tollendus ponens. It's ARB. They asked Jesus, that with a woman taken in adultery, should we stone her to death or let her go? If he let her go, he broke the Jewish law. If he stoned her to death, he broke the Roman law. They thought they had him. You know how you negate an argument like that? There's an option C. There's another option. You're going to let me go or not let me go? I said, no, I'm going to kill you and hang you by your feet from the trees in the front yard. Okay. I didn't give her an answer. Should we pay taxes to Caesar? Yes or no? Jesus said, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar and to God the things that are God. He answered that. Logic is powerful. Understanding fallacies. We may watch the show Love is a Fallacy. It's a very short video, but it's really cute. AI and ethical challenges. It's okay to use AI, but to use it responsibly. Don't use it to hurt somebody. Don't use it to misrepresent the truth. Don't use it to bring about harm or to give false information or promote a false story. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna preach Sunday, okay? Here's my sermon. Let me get down to something that I used AI for. I had he is the gateway to glory. He is the highway to holiness, but I didn't have something for forgiveness. So I put that out on AI. I said, help me. Because I could have got a thesaurus, and after about 4 or 5 hours, I could have come up with what I was going to do. So what about the fountain of forgiveness? I thought, boy, that's pretty cool. And the rock of righteousness. Any of y'all ever heard the old gospel song? It was old when I was a kid, and I'm old. Said, if only I could, I surely would. I'd stand on the rock where Moses stood, talking about the crossing of the Red Sea. But you know, you can use AI to help you legitimately. You can even use AI to help you share the truth if you want to. But you can misrepresent things with AI. Let me go back. Oh, love is a fallacy. Let's see if it'll.
Fallacy. Written by Max Schulman. Cool was I and logical. My brain was as powerful as a dynamo, as precise as a chemist's scales, as penetrating as a scalpel. And think of it. I was only 18.
Oh, isn't that cool? We may play that in time. I'll get you some speakers. My brain was like a dynamo, and I was only 18. Now, give some thought to that just a minute. Is he a little full of himself? My brain's like a dynamo. It's a dynamo without being plugged in, unfortunately. Maybe somebody needs to plug it in. But learning logic can help you with your writing. The Apostle Paul said something that he said, Paul, an apostle not of man, but of God. I want you to look at his argument. How many types of apostles are there? There's either man's apostles or God's apostle. Then he went on to discuss why he wasn't man's apostle. Neither went I up to Jerusalem. He said, I met Jesus. He said, I didn't have to run to Jerusalem to get somebody's blessing. He said, I didn't tell people what they wanted to hear. So if there's only two types of apostle, man's apostle or God's apostle, and if he's not man's apostle, then whose apostle was he? God's. That's argument by modus delendus ponens. Have you ever heard it said that a divorced person cannot preach? Now, when I was young, they were all over that. Now I'm going to show you how to negate that logically. The Apostle Paul preached, didn't he? Paul was a murderer, wasn't he? So rather than divorce her, just kill her, and then you can. Okay, so that's argument by ad absurdum. It's important to know logic. AI brings about a lot of ethical challenges. We have to be careful what we read. Have you ever seen a nest of little birds? You tap on the side of the nest, and every one of them opens their mouth for you to drop something in, whatever you want to. I tell my son he's like that. He's the little bird. Just tap on the nest and he opens his mouth and swallows anything. Be careful what you accept. Be careful what you believe. Don't let someone else sell you false information. I'm not telling you what to believe politically. Figure it out yourself. I don't care. Vote how you want to. I'm telling you to think and be careful of all things. If you'll send me $200, I'll cure your diabetes. No, they won't. And they called me up the other day. We're with the Social Security. Social Security doesn't call people up. And I listened to them a little bit and they said, can you give us your Social Security number? What happens when you give them your Social Security number over the telephone? Next thing you know, yeah, somebody's broken your bank account and they've stole all your money. So you think. So fabricated, made up situations, blended sources without attribution. There are people in the world that just want to discredit other people. And they'll make up stories and they will tell things. You are called upon in writing to figure out whether you believe an article or not. And we're going to look at ways to analyze an article to see if it might be true or if you want to believe it. Responsible use of AI. AI can assist with brainstorming an organization. Yeah, let me show you something. Isn't this so cool? This is so cool. We're going to go back out. I like ChatGPT. That's the one I use. But there's a lot of good sources out there. I use the paid version because it's 5.2. You can use the free version if you want to, but it just runs out after a while. Well, what do we want to find out about? Any ideas? Something you might want to investigate? Suppose you're about to give a speech. Let's see. I am about to give a speech on going to the movies. Hey, I went to the movies Saturday. I went to see Send Help. Didn't end the way I thought it was going to. I thought it was a comedy. Well, it was she killed everybody. Okay, that was fine. I'm about to give a speech on going to the movies. Can you help me design my slides? And it's going to say yes, and here are your slides. Here's some ideas. Absolutely, I got you. Let's design slides that feel like going to the movies, not a book report about movies. The overall vibe. Think cinematic, clean and visual, big images, very little text. Yeah, you're going to the movies. What's your favorite movie? I like the movie Predator 2, In Town with a Few Days to Kill. I think that's a good movie. I like The Outlaw, Josie Wells. I like Tombstone. Oh, okay. Well, the Ten Commandments was a good movie. Moses stands up and cries out in the Ten Commandments, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. He really did that in life. But God said, what are you standing there for? Move forward. He didn't appreciate it. Okay. Suggested, here's slide 1, the title slide. Oh man, it's giving us some pictures. Why we still love the big screen. Do you enjoy going to the big screen? Why don't you wait and watch it on TV for free? Oh, but we got popcorn there and Cokes. It's more than a film, it's an event. Oh, yeah, take Zoe to the movie, Alejandro. It's more than a movie, it's an event. It's a celebration. He wants that tub of popcorn, extra large Coke, free refills. You have to buy tickets, popcorn and drink, choosing your seats. Do you know different people sit different places? My wife wants the back row because she's farsighted, okay, and wants to get back from it. So I'm nearsighted, so I have to carry binoculars when we sit on the back seat. We laugh together. We gasp together. We remember together. Zoe's favorite scene in any movie he's ever seen was in Jurassic Park when the dinosaur ate the man. He thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever seen. He laughed and laughed. Why theaters beat home screens? Use contrast, visual idea. The couch versus being at the movies. Wow. Why we keep going? We keep going to escape, to focus, to connect, memories. Guys, my generation, I'm going to tell you what I did. Any of you like Star Wars? I saw the original Star Wars movie. I took my wife to a date to see it. Have you ever seen Jaws? I saw the original release of Jaws. Guys, I'm telling you, I may look nerdy, but I'm actually a cool person. I've been there. I saw Jaws. Those movies that you think are so cool, I was there when they released them. What are we now into Star Wars version 37? So I was there when the first one was played. I took my wife to see it when she was my girlfriend. The first movie I remember seeing in a theater. Oh, wow. The Magic Isn't Dead, slide 9. Closing image, no bullets, just emotion. Depends on which movie you see. What about Dirty Harry? Do you know Jesus? Yeah, well, tell him I said hello. Blew him away in that movie. It's what he did. Okay. I mean, okay. But anyway, I saw that first release too. Quick tips, tells you how to do it. Isn't that cool? Who's your audience and how long is the speech? My audience is kids, and the speech is 2 hours long. That's awful, isn't it? It's going to say, poor you, poor kids. Yeah. You ever seen somebody get up to preach and they preach their sermon and then they re-preach it and re-preach it and re-preach it and re-preach it? And I mean, you're holding your stomach passed out in the aisle because you're so hungry and they're still preaching again, same sermon. Preach it once and quit. You know, a friend of mine told me God has a sense of balance. He said you can preach 30 minutes to 60 people, or you can preach 60 minutes to 30 people. God's going to balance it out. And it works like that. But you see how AI helped? AI helped us with that. And no slide should stay up longer than 2 or 3 minutes. Kids don't sit through speeches. They go on adventures. That's true, isn't it? Don't y'all get bored quick. We go, oh man, look, you got a breakout of what to do. Welcome to the movies. But AI can help you. But you have to consider what you read that's generated in AI, whether it's true or not. And here's one of the last slides, academic integrity. You see that picture? I drew that picture in AI. Honesty, responsibility, ethics, do your own work, be fair and trustworthy, cite your, but that's my picture. There are many pictures. There are others like it, but this one is mine. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Full Metal Jacket. This is a rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Okay. This is a picture. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Drew it in AI. But you have to be honest with what you're doing. I don't lie about using AI. It's not plagiarism to use AI. That's original. If you told it, set your computer down, we give it the same instruction, it'll do different things. I told it to draw a picture with a white background and be transparent. Don't write a paper totally in AI and turn it in and tell them you did all the writing. You can help design your ideas. You can put your writing into AI and let it smooth it. And just before we get through, I want to show you something that's powerful. If I can get to it, there we go. Get that thing to come on. There is a piece of software, many pieces of software. I use something called Phrasely. Phrasely will take something and tell you whether it's written with an AI. This is 99% written by an AI. You can put it over here in the AI humanizer. It will change it. You put it back in the detector and it says it's written by a human. Okay? This is an arms race. This is cool stuff. So let's see. We got the exciting lecture today. Key takeaways from the lecture. Question your sources. Don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you read. Don't even believe what you're told. Question it. Maybe it is true. And if after you've questioned it and analyzed it, then it's okay to believe it. But just because you told it, just because you saw it, just because you read it, doesn't mean it's true. Examine the reasoning of what they're doing and insist on ethical evidence practices. A lot of times I will go in and I will say, oh, I built this I told you I built that PowerPoint with AI. I did. It took me 30 minutes to build that PowerPoint, design it and everything using AI. We're going to teach you how to do some of those things, hopefully. So let's see. Let me end the recording. Let's see. Captions, docs, all of that. So we're going to end the recording, and life is good out there in Neverland.